SAT Reading Practice, Test 2, Passage 1. Now, since you only have an hour and 5 minutes, you really can't take much more than 13 to 15 minutes per passage. That would leave your very last passage, if you took 15 minutes, maybe only 5 to 7 minutes instead of the 13, but that's okay. But you still need to look at the questions and the answer choices very quickly, maybe not all of them, but you need to skim through some important things and go ahead and underline, circle, or box certain things that you need to look for when you're reading the passage. You have to give your brain something to focus on. You have to give it a purpose for reading. Otherwise, it's not sure what to focus in on. So I'm going to do this very quickly. Obviously, you would be able to do this silently faster than I can do it talking out loud. But whatever I highlight, you're going to be wanting your paper out and boxing it, circling it, highlighting it, whatever the case may be. And let's see how quickly we can do this so that you'll have an idea, okay, if it takes me 3 minutes to do it while talking out loud, it should only take you about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2. So number 1, which choice best summarizes the passage? A character describes his dislike for his new job. 2 characters employed in the same office become increasingly competitive. A young man regrets privately a choice that he defends publicly. A new employee experiences optimism, then frustration, then finally despair. So now we kind of have an idea of what to look for the big picture. Number 2, the main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage. Okay, we can come back to that because we know where to look as long as you circle, underline, or box that opening sentence. Number 3, during the course of the first paragraph, the narrator's focus shifts from. So definitely first paragraph and focus shifts, so you know where to go back to look. Number 4, the references to shade and darkness at the end of the first paragraph mainly have which effect? So what effect do these words have? And again, when you finally look at the answer choices, split your questions up. They evoke the narrator's sense of dismay. They reflect the narrator's sinister thoughts. They capture the narrator's fear of confinement. So even if you don't know what capture means, if you know the narrator doesn't have a fear of confinement, you can eliminate something. So break your answer choices in half if you can. Number 5, the passage indicates that Edward Crimsworth's behavior was mainly caused by his. So we're focusing on him and only him. It doesn't matter what the narrator thinks of him. It's Edward's behavior is caused by his own impatience, scorn, indignation, jealousy, whatever the case may be. So circle his name and anything that talks about his behavior. Number 6, the passage indicates that when the narrator began working for him, so this must be the narrator's boss, how did the narrator view this guy? Was he a harmless rival, sympathetic ally, perceptive judge, demanding mentor? So kind of look at the relationship between the two of them. Number 7, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? When I did this article, I read question 6, and then I went and I kind of boxed around lines 28 through 31 and read only those, and then I went back, reread the question and my answer choice, or the answer choices, to see if these lines fit them. And then I did the exact same thing with this. I looked at those lines, went back, reread the question and the answer choices, and I did it with all 4, and that helped me find a correct answer. So these might take you a little bit of time, but sometimes working it backwards might help you find the answer quicker. Number 8, at the end of the second paragraph, so again, you should be underlining, circling, or boxing end second paragraph, the comparisons of abstract qualities, okay, even if we don't know what that means, focus on a lynx and a snake. So basically when we see a lynx and a snake, we're going to circle that or box it, and we want to know what effect they have. So we'll know where to go back to find that when we get to this question. Number 9, the passage indicates that after a long day of work, the narrator sometimes found his living quarters to be, now I believe they talk about his living quarters or his home twice in the passage, so we need to make sure that we choose the right one, the one that he's talking about when he comes home after a long day of work. Is it treacherous, dreary, predictable, intolerable? So again, go to these lines, but when you go to 17 through 21, if it's talking about his house but not after a long day of work, this isn't the answer. Same thing here. Read those lines and then reread the question. Look at your answer choices. Do it for all 4 of them to make sure that you've got the right answer, the right spot after a long day of work.